What was our numbers last week? Let's start by saying this was our worst week by far. Me and Craig tied. I was 9-7.
It was a struggle.
Craig was 9-7. Frank.
7-9. I had a couple of problems this past
If only you listened to me more.
week. Oh dear Lord.
All right, so Frankie did the numbers. What are we at for the 2-week total so far?
Right now, Matt, you lead at 22-10. I am 2 games behind you at 20-12, and Craig is across the river and down the hill, far away at 17-15. Craig, it might be time to wave the white flag.
Not quite yet, but I'm thinking about changing my name to Mr. Fisher, Mr. 500 instead of Mr. Legacy. Let's get into some Week 3 surprises. Let's go into how Washington revisits the run again. They're really committed to this.
Craig, if I may, I just happen to have some stats in front of me.
I'd love to hear the stats,
He
Frank.
brought up the stats to prove you wrong.
With Washington committing to the
Oh,
run,
yeah, absolutely.
Kirk Cousins was able to throw for 365 yards and 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Washington ran for a combined 104 yards.
Craig's offense, how many carries were there? Because P. Ryan was averaging shit. I know because he's on my team.
Let's see, 37.
That's a lot of runs.
That's a lot of runs in a game. How many passing attempts?
19 for Perrine.
How many passing attempts?
25 out of 30.
Okay. So
That's a hell of a commitment to a run.
The commitment to the run, they're doing a more like an equal game script instead of so heavily on the pass as they did last year, where Kirk Cousins was throwing close to 40 times a game last year.
Their pass to run ratio is like your win to loss ratio. in
500.
game picks. Yeah.
It's 500. They're Mr. 500 in pass to run ratios.
All right, what else we got in the surprises?
After that, the
Lion
biggest
defense.
thing, the Lion defense is just outperforming themselves right now. Right now they have more turnovers than Denver and KC. It's insane. They have a returned defensive touchdown in all 3 games to start the season. They're looking really great. Diggs, the slot corner, has really improved from last year, and they're no longer the Achilles heel of that Lions team. After that, the biggest surprise is probably Washington just putting it on the Raiders. Also, too, not a really big surprise of it, but Oakland does kind of have a history of just being awful coming to the East Coast.
Well, talking about those Jaguars, that's going to be a surprise for you, Craig. You were the lone man on the Jaguars. You said pick the home team. They're used to London. I had the pick of the Bills over the Broncos. Like I said last week, I didn't know why, but I just knew they would win that game.
I didn't have a good pick.
No good
I had the
picks,
Cowboys
okay.
over the Cardinals.
Yeah, we
That
both
was
kind of
really
just
good.
that was kind of a passion pick for us.
Yeah, we love the Cardinals. Just a little side note with the Cardinals, a really big surprise to me was how close Carson Palmer is to passing John Elway for 300 passing touchdowns. He started the night off with 287, finished off at 289, so it's definitely within reach for him this year.
Another pick I had where I was the lone man, I took the Saints. I kind of knew the Panthers sucked, so I don't know how those guys went against me on that. But Craig, he took the Vikings.
I did. I love that Casey Keenum.
That was the biggest surprise.
That was huge. He went off.
Matt, you took the Bills over the Broncos.
Went over
We
that.
talked about that about 40 seconds ago.
That's
so
fine, though.
Thanks for bringing it back
That's how
up.
big of a surprise it
Sorry.
was.
Craig's monotonous tone put me to sleep for a little while.
Here we go.
I must have missed that one.
There we go. Yeah.
All right, well, that's the review.
This just in, no surprise to us,
From Dr. Craig.
from Dr. Craig himself,
Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor.
Mr. PhD.
Another injury-riddled week for the NFL. Tyler Eifert finds himself again on the injury list for this week, going into week 4. Another back issue. I believe he had the same issue with it last year. They're saying multiple weeks. No surgery is needed at this point, but it's always a possibility. At this point, you might as well just drop him off your roster. If he comes back in week 8, he's worthless at that point. Probably the second biggest hit of this week is Crabtree. He took a nasty hit in that Washington game, and right now he's dealing with some chest issues. No ETA back on his arrival to the field. After that, you got Jordan Reed, who pretty much everything's hurt on this guy. Go and grab Vernon Davis at this point. He's week to week, which he always is. And after that, Melvin Gordon, the coach Lynn, played down the severity of the injury, but right now we know he has a knee contusion. He's had issues with his knee in the past, and this could be a reoccurring thing with him. Thank you.